So, you are one who is interested in the macabre. Welcome. Howard Phillips Lovecraft, though unappreciated in his own lifetime, became one of the most influential horror writers of the 20th century as reputation of his writing grew. Stephen King is often quoted as saying that Lovecraft is responsible for his own fascination with horror. He specialized in what he coined as cosmicism, or cosmic horror, the idea of life as being incomprehensible to human minds, basically that the universe is out to cause serious harm to humankind. There are endless things I could say about the man and his work, but here's the deal. You're watching this show, you know who Lovecraft is. You can't look at a squid without thinking of Cthulhu, and you know that the Necronomicon is not just a prop from the Evil Dead movies. The stories of Lovecraft didn't just get any regular movie adaptation treatment. They got the tag team efforts of director Stuart Gordon and writer Brian Usna, most known for being responsible for 3 Reanimator films. How do you make a movie series about a short story character that gets ripped apart by a gang of the undead? Simple, you cast Jeffrey Combs. Now, apart from being to Herbert West what Stallone is to John Rambo, you may also be familiar with the fact that Jeffrey Combs has played 9 different Star Trek characters. I'm not going to say which ones, but he's appeared on Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise. If you're a Trekkie, you've undoubtedly seen him. Combs, though not being what Lovecraft described Herbert West as looking like, somehow just fits. In the Reanimator short story, West is basically described as an Aryan, blonde hair and blue-eyed. Yet when I think of the character, even as I'm reading the story, I can't help but picture Jeffrey Combs. He really took the character and made it his own, and it's because of his utter fandom for Lovecraft. Combs even did an audiobook reading for Reanimator. The guy is just a total Lovecraft fanboy.
Humans are such easy prey.
From the makers of Reanimator, from beyond.
Apart from Herbert West, Jeffrey Combs has played another Lovecraft character named Crawford Tillinghast from the short story From Beyond. It's about a scientist that builds a machine that can harness the full potential of the pineal gland, acting as a third eye that reveals alien life forms from a world of the beyond in our own reality. It's a quick and interesting read, and the film really isn't too terribly different in comparison. It takes some liberties with character names. Tillinghast in the story is the antagonist, but in the movie it's switched to where Tillinghast is the assistant that narrates the tale, and the creator of the third eye machine is a scientist named Edward Pretorius. The movie, if anything, is a continuation. It picks up right where the story left off. Dr. McMichaels, a woman that works for the DA, is sent to interview and examine Crawford Tillinghast. Tillinghast is in an asylum for the criminally insane for his alleged murder of Edward Pretorius, his mentor. Nice to see that multiple Miggs hasn't changed much. Tillinghast was a physicist at Miskatonic, aiding Dr. Pretorius in a study of the pineal gland.
Dr. Pretorius believed the pineal was a dormant sensory organ, a 6th sense.
Yes, well, that's not a new theory. The philosopher Descartes believed it was the third eye.
It's not a theory, it's a fact.
McMichael's interest is piqued, seeing that Pretorius' theory may have just been proved, but wants to know what went wrong with the experiment. The machine is called the Resonator. Tillinghast chopped it up with an axe. He talks about something that he only describes as an it, showing up in our reality, a creature that bit off Pretorius' head. McMichaels gets a CAT scan done on Tillinghast to see the true state that his mind is in after the ordeal. His pineal gland is oversized. The other doctors call it a tumor, but McMichaels can see that it's really the pineal gland overstimulated by the resonator. McMichaels wants to recreate the experiment to find out what really happened to Pretorius. The DA agent, reluctant at first, decides to allow this. Crawford is released into McMichaels' custody. She takes him back to the Pretorius house because she believes him and wants to see what he's seen.
Hi, you must be Dr. McMichaels.
No, I'm Dr. McMichaels.
Oh, hi.
Ken Forey! Ken Forey is Sergeant Buford.
But my teammates call me Bubba. I used to play pro football.
Seriously, who better to have as your muscle? Well, maybe not the best question to ask, as I could probably list a dozen other Z to B grade badasses, but Forey's right up there with the best of them. Dr. McMichaels convinces Crawford to go back inside the house because the only way to prove his innocence is to prove the function of the resonator. Forey is a fearless, big-ass motherfucker, so he waltzes right in like he owns the place.
He's a man, such a man, such a man, he's a real...
Bubba, you alright?
If he's this fucking clumsy, my hopes aren't high for him from when he runs into the Shuggets. The power is out in the house. Crawford slinks away into the dark. McMichaels and Forey set off to the basement for the circuit breaker. They set out to look for Crawford and stumble on Pretorius's room, finding out that he was a pretty kinky dude with bondage gear all about and a snuff porn tape of himself playing on the TV.
This guy was into some weird shit.
That's nothing. You should see what I get up to on the weekends. It makes sex look like a church. McMichaels and Forey go into the lab and are nearly split in two when Tillinghast rushes at the resonator with an axe. He's manhandled by Forey before he can do any real damage. Tillinghast is reliving the night of the murder. McMichaels is willing to let Crawford start in the morning, but Crawford wants to start right away, while Forey cooks up some dinner. Crawford admires McMichaels' beauty as she sleeps. He tells Forey about how Pretorius would always bring beautiful women home, and it would always end in screaming. That might not necessarily mean rape. Pretorius could just also happen to be hung like John Holmes. The resonator is fixed, for the most part. Due to the damage, it now needs to be operated manually.
When we reach 20,000 megahertz,
You're gonna see some serious shit.
Crawford warns them not to move while the machine is on. The Shuggets work the way a T-Rex does. If they move, they'll be seen, and if they're seen, they're going to be about a foot shorter. The resonator is switched on, and almost right away they begin to experience pressure in their foreheads. Forey especially is affected by it pretty bad, but Crawford and McMichaels feel a slight discomfort at best. Are we having a moment here?
Real human being and a real hero.
That's nice. God damn it, Forey!
how did I survive?
I am the master here.
Is it really you, Edward?
Touch me, if it pleases you.
You don't have to be creepy about it, man. Crawford does in fact touch Pretorius, who now seems to be made out of silly putty. Then he basically turns into John Carpenter's version of the Thing, and before he can get some head, Crawford quickly turns off the resonator. McMichaels is excited about the experiment and is even taking a serious shining to Crawford. Let me tell you folks something. When you see girls repping those nerds are sexy t-shirts and shit, that's who they're talking about. Not this. They talk about how their pineal glands are stimulated. McMichaels believes that schizos might actually have enlarged pineal glands and are just simply seeing what they saw thanks to the resonator. Oh yeah, that definitely explains what Miggs does multiple times a day.
Well, we know that the pineal gland helps to regulate the sex drive.
So that definitely explains what Miggs does multiple times a day. Crawford's innocent is proven, but stupid McMichael wants to try the experiment again to get the same result.
Were we in the same nightmare? I mean, didn't we just almost all get eaten by an it?
Took the words right out of my mouth, Forey, but
All it takes is a hand on the switch. If it
dog will hunt. McMichaels nags Crawford until he finally gives in to try the experiment again. My father died a vegetable in an asylum. We can save many lives. Blah, 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 dumb fuckery. She's gonna get them all killed. Moving on. McMichael is in bed and feels her pineal acting up. She approaches the resonator after strict orders from Crawford not to touch the fucking thing unless he's present. I fucking hate you!